One half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys, who has an AP vote? Boston Connor, isn't it interesting?
Yeah.
Feels like the MVP convo is only heating up with every passing game. Josh Allen goes apeshit. Then Lamar Jackson on Christmas says, you know what? Have you forgotten? Everything I'm doing this year, the best I've ever done it throughout my entire career. I've already won multiple MVPs. So they're putting out, who's your MVP candidate? Now, this doesn't even have Jared Goff on it. And Jared Goff is obviously cooked and gone ape as well in its entirety. But AP Tone is one of the guys that's going to decide. Conman, how should he be looking at this entire thing?
I mean, look, I worry about it because one of the teams we just talked about, the Pittsburgh Steelers, them in Baltimore, they don't like each other.
Oh, yeah, they hate each other.
And I'm not saying Tone is biased in any sort of way. And he would never make a decision based on the city he's from, the city he represents, the city that bleeds through him. But with that being said, I thought Josh Allen was a runaway. And then yesterday happens, and we're looking at these numbers side by side.
Well,
do numbers mean nothing anymore? I thought that was the whole thing with TJ Watt last year with the Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, because remember, Jade said, we're using these, we're not using these. And then last year, I guess, if you look at the MVP, the stats weren't used. If you look at just the stats, so things are getting crazy. And this is AP Tone's first year voting. Let's go to a man who coached football for 36 years, 18 in college, 18 in the NFL. Coach Chuck Pagano here. Merry Christmas, Coach.
Merry Christmas.
Coach, if you're looking at this MVP voting, and Tone actually has a vote, and I would like to go on the record as when the idea was pitched to us by great man.
Came on the show, Eagles guy.
Great.
Rob Motti.
Rob Motti. Very thankful for the idea of us having a vote. He pitched both me and Tone. And I said, I'm not the right guy for the job, Rob. Okay, I'm not the one that needs to decide this. Because this is legacy. Right? This is Hall of Fame stuff. This is next contract stuff. This is how they remember you as a football player, these types of awards. Now, do I think people put way too much stock in all of them? Absolutely, but I'm not the one that needs to be doing it. So Tone is representing the program on this particular vote.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, especially with what Lamar did just yesterday?
It looked like, Josh Allen was a runaway a couple weeks. What he did in that 4 or 5 week span was just absurd. But then you see Lamar go out and think he all-time rushing leader for a quarterback in the history of the game.
6,110 yards, surpasses Michael Vick. That is correct.
I mean, and then you're looking at Saquon, who's got a chance to break, is it Dickerson's record?
Yes.
Rushing record? So if he does that, Josh keeps rolling. Lamar, he just set a new record, right, for rushing yards for a quarterback. I mean,
good luck. These are all public, too, the votes, right?
And the narrative is going to be like, okay, they both got to do it in the playoffs. I wish they'd wait for this. When does this vote come out, AP?
January 6th is when we have to have the vote in.
That's a weird date to have, but they
AJ Hawk's birthday?
Yeah.
First Raw on Netflix, clear picture.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
I mean, that was in like 8K.
It looked fantastic.
Is that a Monday, then?
Yeah.
Sorry, January 8th, then. The Wednesday after the final week.
Okay, January 8th.
And this is predominantly a quarterback given award goes to a quarterback, right?
Yep.
So if these two stayed neck and neck, that's a tough one. That's a tough one because Lamar, like we've all been watching him since he was just down the road in Louisville, right? Just
even in high school, he had highlights popping up, obviously.
Just tearing.
Gone.
I mean, just sick.
21.25 miles an hour there. That's the fastest he's ever been tracked. He said, I'm jogging. Yeah, he was just kind of striding out. He came into the season lighter. This is a stupid play. The amount of time he had to wait for Likely to decide to turn and go that way with Danielle Hunter, I think he's in his face there. That's one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Him just chilling, basically, no worries. Doesn't even think that there's going to be a turnover. He has nothing but control of the sport whenever he's playing it. And I said there's no question that Josh Allen's the best player in the sport. Just a few weeks ago when he had 6 touchdowns, 3 rushing, 3 passing, only quarterback to ever do that or whatever. Watching Lamar yesterday,
hold on,
it was hard not to be like, oh, man. Guy with microphone says something that is supposed to be a matter of fact, and it is not at all. He is so much fun to watch. Now, this Houston Texans team, we all got questions. As an AFC South compadre of the Houston Texans here in Indianapolis, it is very fascinating to see what their team has become. Now, they get a safety.
They did.
Right?
Yeah, great play.
Hang your hat on that.
That was it.
On Derrick Henry.
31-2.
That was
the final score of the game.
That's a goose egg.
for the defense.
Doesn't show it on the deal, but the defense, you're saying we shut them out.
Let's talk about the Ravens defense. Are they good? Because they have the most losses, which is why Josh Allen was the one who everybody was talking. You look at all those people that are up at the top. The team with the most amount of losses, Baltimore Ravens. Okay, so normally it goes to a team that is 1 or 2 in their respective conferences. The Baltimore Ravens have a couple early losses, that they have to get over. How many points did they lose those games?
22. 5 losses, 22 total points.
Raiders and
all
Browns
one-score games.
And then that toe.
Yep. Yeah, week
First
1.
game, week 1, toe. Isaiah Likely.
And there's a couple of those
if he's wearing black cleats instead of those whites, was that the case, or just the opposite?
Instead of black cleats. Probably don't even see that. They have no idea. Touchdown.
And they walk out of there week 1.
Lamar's on to another MVP. This Ravens team might actually do it. That's from week 1.
Yeah.
And instead, toes out. They just can't do it. They get a fumble at the half-yard line. They have a toe out of bounds. This team is just kind of snake-bitten. But instead, you watch them, and you watch them continue to play, and it's like, this offense is unstoppable. Mark Andrews is all the way back. And it's not just an unstoppable offense because they have so many weapons and pieces. It's an unstoppable offense because they're tougher than you, too. He's going to win the MVP again, huh? Is that what's going to happen, Age? Because we got an AP voter here, and he's flustered right now. He is flustered with what to do.
Well, okay, I don't know what the protocol is. Is Tone, as an AP voter, is he allowed to get on the phone and talk with other AP voters and see where they're at and what they're doing?
Yeah. I don't care where they're at.
I like that. I like that.
Why would I give a shit what they think?
Where do you think they're at, Tone?
Huh?
Where do you think they're at?
Where do I think they're at? I think I have no idea because none of them think like me.
Good point.
That's
okay,
right.
I respect it.
You are the anomaly over there.
How many Cowboys
Who
are
says
there?
it's just these 3? Huh?
Jared Goff needs a look. Who's in AP Tone's current watch list for the MVP? Joey B. Josh Allen.
I mean, it's 40 touchdowns.
So here's some stats on Joe Burrow that we had before the Christmas games, and obviously they change for this entire thing. Joe Burrow has had the most completions before Christmas. So let's take this for Monday morning.
Okay.
We got these stats. We got these stats. Yep. Monday morning. Most completions, Joe Burrow had 384. Geno Smith was number 2 at 370. Most pass yards, Joe Burrow had 4,229. He's best in the league. Jared Goff is in second at 4,095 yards. Most pass touchdowns, Joe Burrow had 39. Most in the league. Number 2, Lamar Jackson, 37. So go ahead and count that as a pass tie. Most passing first downs, Joe Burrow, 215. Number 2, Jared Goff, 206. Most total first downs, Joe Burrow, 229. Lamar Jackson, 220. So I don't know how many he picked up yesterday.
Quite a few, I'd assume.
I do. I do not know, but obviously Joe Burrow's got another weekend to kind of take back the lead. Most total first downs, same exact thing, 229 to 220. Most EPA on passes.
Yep,
sure.
This is the one.
Which is the terrible one.
Can you explain that for people that might not know?
Expected
points added
on passes? I don't think so. Joe Burrow, 108.7. Lamar Jackson, 84.6, number 2 in the league. EPA. Expected.
I don't think they're thinking he's going to add 100 points.
Clinic earlier on EPA.
And the most clutch weighted EPA is another stat that Hembo sent over.
That's awesome.
This one's the coolest one. Joe Burrow, 103.9. Josh Allen, 95.8.
Okay.
Wow.
But that could have changed yesterday because Christmas, how clutch can he be?
Yeah.
Weighted?
No, yeah.
The weight of Christmas? International audience?
Every throw is clutch then. Every single throw is clutch, right? If it's Christmas Day.
Yeah.
That's true.
Santa Claus is looking.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to watch Joe B go up against that Denver defense because they're pretty salty. And Surtain will line up and be across Chase. That'll be a good one to watch.
And what was that stat about the Bengals and who they've played and who they've beat? I guess there was a tweet that was put out this morning. Once again, we did not fact check it, but it was certainly put into our sphere. So I don't know if it's real or not. I do apologize. Who have the Bengals beat this year? They're saying
No starting quarterbacks, I believe.
that's what the tweet said.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, I have not looked into that. That's right before we go live. But they're basically doing the college football talk. Who have they beat? Who have they beat? Who have the Bengals beat?
Herbie put out this tweet?
Herbie did not put out the tweet. I've seen a lot of things said about Herbie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Me too.
Here's an insane stat entering week 17. This from Ben Baby at Ben_Baby. The Bengals have not beaten a current QB1 all season. The opposing starting quarterbacks in Bengals wins this year were Andy Dalton, Mac Jones, Deshaun Watson, Minshew, Rush. Minshew was a starter for the Raiders, I think, at one point.
He was. He started the season.
Cooper Cush, Will Levis, and DTR. We should maybe fact check that a little bit, but that was the tweet that got sent in there. The Bengals haven't been able to stop anybody.
No.
And they're playing backup quarterbacks are able to do it. That's going to inevitably be their downfall. Yep. The amount of losses that Cincinnati Bengals have had, just like 5 losses for the Baltimore Ravens, are inevitably the reason why they're not at the top of the MVP conversations, because normally it comes from a team who's first or second in the amount of wins going to the quarterback.
That's how, Dak came in second last year in MVP voting, and they were, 12-4, 12-5, whatever they were. Lamar ended up winning it because of their record. I think they were 14-2 last year, but Dak had the better stats. So, each year it's a different thing, but like Josh, Lamar, Saquon, Joe, like all the stats these guys have this year would have easily won last year. And they all have put up MVP-like seasons this year, so it's going to be very interesting to see who.
Been a great season from the superstars. Josh Allen's offensive line says, we know who should win this one. Mm-hmm. They gifted him an ISTAT MVP Josh Allen jersey logo.
Yeah.
Clean. His hair also, by the way.
Love his hair.
His hair. We were just talking about Travis Kelce.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen also, he's in love, he's engaged, he's balling. He's got that now to wear around his necklace. That's going to be flat. Think of the lights when he's walking in the stadium. Mac Hollins is going to walk in there barefoot, shirtless.
Sure. Yep.
He's going to steal the attention.
Wearing a bear.
Yeah, bingo. A whole bear, like it's that movie that Leo was in.
Revenant.
The Revenant.
Yeah, and then Deion Dawkins is going to walk in looking so sweet, whatever it is. And then Josh Allen's going to walk in there. He's going to have a little strut a little bit, and that thing's just going to be glitz and glamour at all. Do you think the offensive line is right? Do you think this is finally the year, H, that Josh Allen wins the MVP? Because that was kind of expected until Lamar Jackson goes bananas over the last 2 weeks. I think the timing in which the Ravens had a bye, which was ultimately good for the Baltimore Ravens. They had a bye, then they had their 3 games, Giants, Steelers, and then Texans yesterday in 11 days. So they had a little break leading up to this, knowing they were going to have a tough go. But during that bye week, Josh Allen has that 6-touchdown performance against the Rams, on prime time. So everybody just assumed it was going to be Josh's year because he's never won it. And there has been that push in the past for people to win MVP that have won. Remember, Russell Wilson, whenever he was with the Seattle Seahawks towards the tail end and with the Broncos, not this year with the Steelers at all, but at the end of the Seahawks, remember like opening week, it's like Russell Wilson has never won the MVP. Every time he was on TV, it was like they were trying to drive up him winning the MVP. Is that happening with Josh? He's having such a good year. Do you think that pendant is going to become one that's like, maybe next year we'll wear this? How do you think it goes, H? Legit. How do you think?
Man, I thought Josh was running away with it for a while, probably like most people were. You thought, okay, yeah, Josh is going to do this. He has the 6-touchdown day. But then Lamar just keeps doing it over and over again, especially when it matters. And these games towards the end, we know you got an AP voter right there in studio with Tone. Like, recency bias, I think, definitely plays a role here. And both these guys are playing great, but man, Lamar feels like he may have a little edge right now.
Yes, especially coming off of Christmas, the ass beating. An absolute ass beating in front of the entire world of the AFC South champion. It's just like when people were talking about the Chiefs-Steelers outcome, it's like, hey, the Chiefs haven't been playing great all year is what the conversation was, 15-1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absurd.
They're 15-1.
Yeah.
Which is a hilarious amount of wins to have in a season.